In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming pattern where activity is on the upswing. We are seeing a little bit more of an active pattern expected compared to in yesterday's video. We do also have Hurricane Ernesto there about to strike Bermuda. Unfortunately, is a pretty strong hurricane, so we're going to be tracking that system alongside another potential tropical cyclone that I am watching that the models are starting to pick up on. We do have a very intense cool down expected for next week. Temperatures 10 to 15 degrees below normal or more for some areas is going to be definitely a very fall-like pattern. So stay tuned for all of that. With all that being said, be sure to check out Prestige Weather in the description and pinned comment down below, where we are running a fall sale. It's typically $5 a month. We're doing it for only 99 cents on your first month if you use discount code DIRECT at checkout. The best part is that if you decide that it's not for you, you can cancel and all you will be charged is that 99 cents. And on top of that, we are uploading a plethora of early access content from our long range forecast here on Direct Weather. Right now, we just uploaded the when to expect your peak fall foliage in 2024 to that Discord server. So if you join today, you will gain access to that. But we have others coming up soon, like the winter forecast, the second one, the final fall forecast, first frost, first freeze, first snowfall, our official snowfall forecast, and our September forecast. All are coming up in early access. So just a handful of videos that I know you guys love so much every single year are going to be available early in our Prestige Weather server. So again, for only 99 cents for your first month, you can gain access to all this early access stuff alongside our other features, which I'm sure you guys will love. And also another thing in addition to all of that I want to do is a live stream of sorts, probably after that September 1st date. So once everybody's signed on from this promo, I want to do a long live stream exclusive to those standard members. And that would be again after September, and we'd be talking about the fall and the winter and answering questions from you guys. It'd be a cool opportunity to kind of chat back and forth with me, do a live stream. It'd be really, really cool. Let's go ahead and just dive into things and take a look here at the upcoming pattern. And as we reach towards later on this afternoon on Friday the 16th, what we see is quite a bit of storms are present, especially throughout that upper Midwest region. Also northward for some of the central Canada areas. We see across the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and even into the deeper south, we're seeing this kind of bowed out area of thunderstorms and showers around. We also see that for the northwest as well as the southwest of Canada, we are seeing some thunderstorms and showers in that pocket as well. And then for New England and some of the northeast in general, we're seeing these thunderstorms prevail in there as well. So definitely a whole lot of areas dealing with these thunderstorms and showers for the day today on Friday, August 16th. Now, as we keep going towards Saturday on August 17th, what we're seeing here is a lot of thunderstorm activity once again, especially in the east. If you look east of kind of the Mississippi River there, we're seeing a whole lot of storms, especially in Canada, as well as kind of the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley of the United States. And then even for some of these deeper south areas, it does reach towards the East Coast, especially in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast there. And overall, we could see very many different areas dealing with thunderstorms for the day tomorrow on Saturday, August 17th. Now, we do see that there is kind of a trifecta of storminess happening here out west. Some for Canada there, some for the West Coast along Oregon and California especially, and then one there for those western four corner states. So Utah, Arizona, even a little bit of Nevada there, seeing some showers and thunderstorms. A little bit uncommon, but we are kind of seeing some monsoon activity in there. So not the weirdest thing in the world, but not something you see every day either. Sunday on the 18th here, what we see is that there is just a lot of activity here, kind of stacked up against the east. We see it throughout the plains, throughout the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and Deep South. And then again, kind of a broad low pressure system over Lake Erie there. And what we're seeing is thunderstorms to the north, thunderstorms to the south, just a whole lot of activity all around that storm because of that low pressure. We do see that again, the Pacific Northwest is seeing quite a bit of precipitation, as well as the four corner states here and up and down the Rockies in general, really. What we see here is that we have an overall ridge in the west, trough in the east type pattern, really, really prevailing here, which is interesting. It's definitely kind of leaning towards what we've been calling for, with the cooldowns being very frequent. So not unexpected if you've been keeping up with the channel, but maybe if you haven't watched our videos, you wouldn't have seen it coming. So might come as a surprise to some of you newer viewers, but we've been talking about this for over a week now, probably. Monday on August 19th, we see that along the Rockies and overall a lot of the West, we do have some scattered about hit or miss thunderstorms and showers. So be on the lookout for that, as the West has been quite active, I would say. And then along the Gulf Coast, there's some isolated chances of thunderstorms, and this is typical of the summertime there. I mean, really every day almost looks like this, so typical stuff there. But once we reach kind of the mid-Atlantic up through the Northeast and even the east coast of Canada, we do have some low pressure here near kind of like Long Island or southern New England, and this is leading towards overall thunderstorms and showers up and down this entire area. So could be a little bit of a nastier day, and really that goes for Sunday and Monday here. So going to be a little bit of a multi-day event there for sure. Monday here is what we're looking at, and it's looking pretty consistent for the mid-Atlantic and Northeast here, just really stormy. And then by Tuesday, things do slow down. We do see a bit of showers and thunderstorms here along the mid-Atlantic and Northeast, but it is kind of died down from what it once was, so could definitely be a little bit less intense. We do see some isolated and scattered showers along a lot of areas throughout the West and the central states, so definitely don't be surprised if there is some areas dealing with some rainfall, but overall it is quite a bit quieter than things have been at times, especially. Here is Wednesday on the 21st. We're kind of seeing the heart of this cool down here by this point, and what's interesting is this ridge goes a little bit inverted. And we see something like this. So this ridge is pushing eastward here at the northern tip of it, and this causes this cold to kind of bend down and kind of go inverted, hitting more of the Midwest there. It's also spreading for a lot of the east, so we see this kind of funneling effect happen here with this cooler air. Could be pretty intense midweek. I think that if we're dealing with 10 to 15 degrees below normal, a lot of folks see 70s, maybe even some folks see 60s, which is pretty crazy for mid to late August. So definitely unseasonable, very fall-like, and kind of in line with what we've been expecting for the most part. As we reach towards Thursday on August 22nd, we do see the quieter pattern has kind of taken hold here. Southeast, showery thunderstorms in some spots, especially southern Florida, but nothing too crazy. Kind of like Maine into New Hampshire there as well. Some of the plains, the northern plains here, a little bit of the Four Corner states, but these are very minor storms that we're looking at here. And I'm trying to kind of pinpoint any activity on screen, but really from coast to coast, it's mostly inactive compared to what we've just seen before this point. So Thursday the 22nd here. Friday the 23rd is a lot of the same. Again, the southeast, Midwest, kind of plains, we're seeing some activity, but it's a far cry from what we've seen before. Saturday, the southeast and Pacific Northwest actually are picking up in intensity. Another interesting thing to note here is that we do have a trough kind of building here for the West. Something like this is what's prevailing. So we have some cooler air trying to move into this northwest area, so expect a potential cool down later on. But we get this massive ridge just to the east of it because of that. We still have some cooler or more neutral air over the east taking hold. So that's by the Saturday the 24th time frame. Here is Sunday the 25th, again a lot quieter. And then kind of as we reach towards Monday on the 26th, it's the same story, except we do have a kind of a pocket of scattered about thunderstorms for some of the plains, even into the Midwest. And then we have a lot of activity kind of in our Caribbean and Gulf areas, and the problem with this is we could see any of this become tropical activity. So with a lot of precipitation there, just expect there to be a chance that we do see a tropical system try to develop. That's the problem here. It's really hard to predict, but when we have warm waters like we've seen, when we have very favorable conditions in many other ways as well, nothing can be ruled out, especially when we get this lower pressure forming over these waters and storms developing. You know, it starts to get a twirl and then it just takes off sometimes. So we're going to be watching that late August time frame, I'd say after the 20th here, so starting even next week. We're really going to see some potential for development near the coasts here of the United States, or very close at least in the Caribbean or the Gulf. So be on the lookout. Definitely a prediction. It's not a guarantee, obviously, but it just gives us the chance of seeing this development happen at some point. So we're going to be watching that very, very closely. Here is your European AI model, and we see Ernesto here, again, about to strike Bermuda. It's going to basically try to stay south of Canada, thankfully, so that is the current expectation. So let's just move through with that. We do see it kind of graze maybe the eastern tip of Newfoundland, but really it's hardly arriving. We do see kind of our first potential tropical cyclone here. It's going to do something like this and impact the southeast perhaps later on. Doesn't really take off on this model, but it is kind of a area of interest the whole way around. So if we watch that closely, it goes north of Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, kind of strikes the Bahamas, and then it ends up off that southeast area. I'm trying to pinpoint every single potential system that I'm seeing here. Then we get this area, which is basically crossed the entire MDR, which is short for Main Development Region. So it's come from Africa. It's moved into this area that I've circled by this point. And what it's going to do is it's kind of just going to move north of here as well into this area. And this one does take off. So watch this very closely. This is Monday the 26th that we're looking at here. Here's Tuesday the 27th, Wednesday the 28th, Thursday 29th, Friday the 30th here. It's kind of over the Eastern Caribbean area. And it is intensifying pretty dramatically. And even by this kind of very early on Saturday, August 31st time frame, we're seeing these reds pop up. So this is becoming a much more intense storm, frame after frame after frame. And this one could really pose a threat to the East Coast. It could continue into the Gulf, or it could be out to sea like Ernesto. So anything is possible. So we're going to track that very closely. But again, this kind of 10 to 15 day range, we've done a nice job of kind of figuring out what systems to watch, and this one is kind of drawing some red flags for me. So we're going to continue to track this around that kind of late August time frame. Again, homegrown systems going to be possible, and then this one as well. So that's the two main ones that we're watching after Ernesto at this point. Now, for the total precipitation throughout the next 10 days, what we see here is a decent amount of activity across the north. I'm not going to lie. I mean, this is pretty decent, especially the Northwest, the Rockies, and Northern Plains. This is usually going to be above average for this time of year for them. The Northeast is probably near normal to a little bit above normal there. Everywhere in the South, though, will probably be below average. So let's just take a look. And yeah, kind of in line with what I was thinking. We do have a little bit below average in here, so maybe they average a little bit higher than I was thinking. But the Pacific Northwest doing quite nicely. Also, a lot of areas across the northeastern corner and some of these areas in Canada as well. And then drier overall across a lot of your south and even kind of like the upper Midwest as well. Now, the temperature pattern, again, we are seeing this next cool down move through for kind of early to mid next week. Here's Monday the 19th. Here's Tuesday the 20th. And then here's Wednesday the 21st. Again, greens are going to be 10 to 15 degrees below normal, so a very significant departure from what's typical. Blues are 1 to 10, so especially the darker blues will be very noticeable as well. Definitely worth noting there. And then we see it stick around for a while, but again, we kind of get averaged out here at the end. And I've talked about this time and time again, but what ends up happening on these models, because it is an ensemble model, which just means that there's about 20 members here, and we're getting the mean average of those. Basically, they all start to disagree more and more and more as time goes on. And once we reach like hours 36 here, what ends up happening is they just show a very averaged out look where everywhere's kind of just a little bit warmer than normal. Nothing too out there as far as the opinions. And usually I disregard it at this point. I would probably say that it's quite good until about this point. This looks very sufficient. And then it just starts to show the same thing every day. And then eventually melt away with anything significant. So we see it drop in resolution rapidly throughout that model run. Very interesting. Here's the next 45 days overall from our CFS daily model, which is not an ensemble model. I think it actually is, but it's like 3 or 4 members, probably 4. And it doesn't work the same. You know, when you have 4 members, you don't get as bad of that kind of averaged out at the end. So that's why we're able to use this one much longer term. Cooler temperatures in the east overall for the next 45 days is expected, so kind of in line with what we've been predicting. And the west continues to look warmer and warmer, actually. There is some cooler air in there, but this looks much warmer than what we've seen. So kind of shaping up for a cooler end of August. Of course, we've been calling for that, but September as well is kind of what we're anticipating right now. Here is the cone forecast for Hurricane Ernesto as of 11 a.m. on August 16th. And we do see that this one is expected to kind of remain at hurricane status all the way through Monday morning, where it'll be well offshore of Nova Scotia, and then kind of striking maybe the very eastern tip of Newfoundland, but also there's a good chance it's pretty well offshore. It likely will be somewhere between a hurricane and then a post-tropical storm. So definitely interesting to say the least. Now, it is expected to strike Bermuda, where we do have hurricane warnings up, so devastating conditions there, wind, rain, everything, storm surge. We're going to be watching for all of the impacts there, of course. Here is your weeks 2 and 3 global tropics hazards outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Week 2 being August 21st through 27th. We do expect a pretty high chance of tropical development in our MDR, which again is the area between Africa and the Caribbean there. And then week 3, August 28th through September 3rd. We once again expect that from that area, but it does look to be an even higher chance, and it is stretching more into the Caribbean. So we're going to be on high alert here as tropical development seems likely for the end of August timeframe, basically starting next week and onward. And then the peak of hurricane season is that first to second week of September, so we should just keep accelerating into worse and worse conditions. We are just getting started, guys, so hold on to your seats. It's going to get crazy here. We're going to be tracking all of these storms all the way through. So be sure to subscribe. We do upload every single day. Be sure to also check out the Prestige Weather in the description and pinned comment down below, like I said. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.